Next on Channel 3 News, some of the missing mountain climbers in Oregon have been found tonight. Some of them are alive. Another step closer to finding out just how much 9 Mile 2 will cost its customers. And a century later, plans for Onondaga Lake's shoreline include a bit of the past. These stories and more news, plus weather and sports. The Chief Blues tonight. All this next on Channel 3 News.
Our new six-pack tells you we make our Mats Premium the traditional way, with more taste and more character than ordinary beers. The beer inside proves it.
OCC Summer Courses. Every merchant bank gets free course listing brochures with a way to win a course and how to register easily by phone. See merchants and get ahead at OCC.
USA, 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 88.
Come on, Erica. The team really needs your support now.
At Midas, we've always been proud of the job we do. A lot of our new customers are referred to us by our old ones.
Howdy, boys.
Welcome back, Mr. Creedy. You see, good service, good prices. The word gets around. Like our fantastic anniversary sale. We're giving you 25% off every Midas muffler. A sale like this doesn't come along every day.
Take it to Midas. I love a sale. Take it to someone you trust.
WSTM TV, Syracuse. And now, Channel 3 News at 11 with Tom Miller, Roger Springfield on sports, and meteorologist Wayne Mahar.
Good evening. Intense search efforts atop snow-covered Mount Hood in Oregon have reportedly succeeded. Late word is that some, if not all, of the 8 hikers who holed up in an icy cave Monday when a freak blizzard hit have been found. Reports say that at least 2 of those found are alive. Dozens of searchers have been combing the mountain. They were aided by dogs trained to smell body heat 8 feet below the snow and ice. Helicopters with infrared sensors were used at night. They can sense a 2-degree difference in temperature under the snow. There were 13 hikers in the group. 3 died yesterday. One of the 2 who made it off the mountain said yesterday everyone was caught by surprise.
I've done this a couple times before, and I wasn't prepared for anything like this, and I didn't bring the proper equipment to the next.
To survive the blizzard and 50-degree below zero wind chill, the 8 hikers dug an ice cave in the snow, a standard survival tactic, and by doing so could maintain a temperature of 32 degrees inside the cave. Relatives of the hikers have maintained a constant vigil, while fellow students at the hikers' school prayed. For some, it appears the prayers worked. If you're a customer of Niagara Mohawk, you'll know 2 weeks from tonight how much of the cost you'll be picking up for the construction of the 9 Mile 2 nuclear power station. By then, the Public Service Commission will have rendered its decision on that issue. Channel 3's Bill Beagle reports on today's final hearing on the matter of what the bottom line will be for the consumer.
The 2-day hearing ended as it began. Testimony piled on top of testimony. Stacks of reports thicker than New York City telephone books. On May 28th, the PSC will vote on a deal divvying up the cost of 9 Mile 2, costs now adding up to $6 billion. Unless one of the 7 commissioners changes their mind, the deal will probably get a 4-3 approval. Under the deal proposed by Niagara Mohawk and the plant's other 4 owners, the consumers would pick up 70% of the plant's price, while the utilities and their shareholders would pay 30% of the cost. But among those who have doubts about the deal are the utilities, because costs have risen since the deal was cut. They say they are still willing to abide by the deal, and the PSC staff that negotiated the agreement says it would be better than no deal at all.
They want, in other words, to see this settlement turned down and go to a fully litigated case, because what do they have to lose when you get up around $1.72 billion?
True, the air gets rather rarefied in this high-stakes proposition where costs are rising at the rate of $2 million a day. Still, there is a side that wants to take the utilities to court to make them pick up more of the expense, claiming 9 Mile 2 costs twice what it should have.
We see indications that 9 Mile 2 cost was totally excessive compared with other plants.
The utilities claim added safety features led to cost overruns, and that claim could be even more viable in light of Russia's recent nuclear accident. Bill Beagle, Channel 3 News on the night side.
Since 10:30 this morning, power at the Fitzpatrick nuclear plant has been slowly reduced, and at about 9 tonight, the plant shut down completely. Monitoring stations around 9 Mile Point have been picking up higher than normal readings lately. Nearby plants are not responsible, but the Chernobyl plant in Russia is. Channel 3's Elizabeth Fanny says officials have reassured residents that the levels are not dangerous.
live near 9 Mile Point don't seem to be shaken by the traces of radiation found locally from the Chernobyl accident, nor from the Soviet accident itself. Jim Brown works at the Fitzpatrick nuclear plant. He says his knowledge of nuclear power makes him feel safer.
It makes you even more confident about living beside nuclear plants. I'd far rather live beside a nuclear plant than a coal burner.
Really? Why is that?
Well, I think you put less pollution into the air.
I've lived here 21 of it, and I got this first, and I'll live till I'm gone. I'm not going to worry about it.
The New York Power Authority's lab tests samples from the environment on a weekly basis. This is where it was discovered radiation from Chernobyl made its way to Oswego and Jefferson counties. Information from samples placed in detectors is fed into a computer. The printout tells scientists exactly what they're dealing with.
There is a crystal that's made out of germanium, and the germanium crystal is excited or activated by gamma radiation.
Radioactive particles from Chernobyl were easy to spot. They never occur naturally. Richard Chase of the Fitzpatrick plant says radiation levels found are just barely above what normally occurs in the atmosphere. Chase says there's no health hazard, and he assures people living near 9 Mile Point they can rest easy.
These American-made plants have containment systems, unlike Soviet reactors, and they have different cooling systems and numerous backup safety valves, all designed to prevent the release of radioactivity. From Oswego County, Elizabeth Franny, Channel 3 News.
According to Soviet officials, the radiation coming from the damaged reactor in Chernobyl has dropped 75% the past 3 days, but they are still far from containing it completely. Meanwhile, American Dr. Robert Gale is still helping the Soviets treat the most seriously injured victims from Chernobyl. In a news conference today, Gale said the resources of the international medical community were stretched just trying to treat 300 victims of a nuclear disaster, and the world should take note.
Perhaps this could be an important lesson to anyone who believes that there can be a successful response to a thermonuclear war.
Heavy radiation destroys bone marrow, the part of the body that makes white blood cells to fight infections. Doctors are trying to save the Chernobyl victims by transfusing the bone marrow of healthy donors to the radiation victims. This appears to be working in some cases.
In our attempts to rescue these 35 individuals by one or other techniques, 28, as of this moment, remain alive. And we anticipate that there may very well be additional fatalities.
In Chernobyl, Soviets are working in 6-hour shifts at the damaged reactor site, laying pipe 100 feet below ground. It will carry cement to entomb the radioactive core. Terrorism is another major issue in the minds of people around the world, and today a Western news agency received a call from someone saying they represented the terrorist group Islamic Jihad. The caller said American and French hostages being held in Lebanon will pay the price if the West keeps pressuring Syria to help with their release. Threats of terrorism fueled a House debate today over 2 bills that would ban the manufacture, importation, and sale of weapons that can't be detected by standard security equipment. At issue, the Glock 17, an Austrian-made handgun that is 2/3 plastic and difficult to spot with metal detectors and, in some cases, X-ray devices. In a recent test, this congressional aide found that Capitol building security failed to detect the plastic gun.
I was able to break the weapon down very quickly in a matter of seconds, get 2 of the 3 pieces through the metal detector without anything happening at all. So I was through with 2/3. The 3rd piece, which is a metal piece, put through the X-ray machine, created no suspicious image at all on the screen.
At a congressional hearing today, there was testimony that a plastic weapon recently escaped detection in X-rayed baggage at Washington's National Airport. Meanwhile, the National Rifle Association has taken the position that Congress should beef up security instead of banning the gun.
We would like to shift the focus, and we think that it's in the best interest of the American public, flying public, to shift the focus towards better detection equipment that can detect any potential terrorist threat.
Others argue that the plastic weapons must be dealt with now because it will take time and money to improve security. Still ahead on Channel 3 News, clearer signals coming from the Cuomo campaign on his plans for public office, and new plans for the shoreline around Onondaga Lake could bring back some of the good old days.
Look, it's a sale. It's 4 powerful days of savings. It's the season's guaranteed lowest prices. It's Super Sale at Dave's. Now through Saturday only. Find super savings for the whole family at Dave's Super Sale. For your convenience, shop mall stores evenings. Come win the never-ending battle for value and savings. If you're a tough customer, you demand extraordinary. And one riding mower gives you that. Aaron's. Aaron's gives you more bagging capacity, more comfort, easier height adjustment and less scalping, and more years of service. Aaron's makes a tough decision easy. Aaron's. Easy choice for tough customers.
Own an Aaron's riding mower for as little as $899. Don't miss the combined largest Chevy sale in history. Save hundreds during this once-a-year Big Top sale at Fox Chevrolet Auburn and Sharon Chevrolet Phoenix. Every model, color, and option is available at big discounts and huge trade-in allowances. Financing available as low as 5.9%. 4 days only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Fox Chevrolet Auburn and Sharon Chevrolet Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Jane Fox. You have my personal promise that during this sale, every new Chevrolet will be sold at the year's lowest prices.
Little mystery still surrounds Governor Cuomo's decision to go for another term as the head of the state. However, aides to the governor say it's a good bet that he will run again. In New York City today, Cuomo said he hasn't reached a decision, but he's very close. There is one man who is sure the governor will run again, and that's his potential opponent, Andrew O'Rourke. The Westchester County executive was in Oswego today, drumming up support. He said he's never had it out who his opponent would be. New life on Onondaga Lake may have begun today as anglers drop their lines into the waters legally for the first time since 1970. Legal fishing is one thing, but the state is still warning you not to eat your catch. There are still high levels of mercury in the fish, making them unsafe to eat. But lifting the ban has given some people hope that the days of pollution at the lake will give way to days of recreation once again. Channel 3 Francis Gross has that story.
A lot can happen in 100 years. This was Onondaga Lake during its glory days. Amusement parks, hotels, even swimmers. But when industry moved in, the fun moved out. But now that the #1 polluter, Allied Chemical, is closing, it seems to be the perfect climate to bring back some of the fun. That was the reason city and county political and economic leaders met with the Friends of Onondaga Lake today to share ideas on how to continue the cleanup process and develop what is now just a diamond in the rough.
I think we're in an era where we'll be able to commingle public funds and private support, private money, private development around the lake to make this a really unique resource.
With Allied gone, the next step is to clean up the city and county sewage system. That could cost anywhere from $200 to $800 million. But some see it as a price that must be paid.
We have to clean up this lake in our lifetime. I mean clean. So that people swim in it, people fish in it, boating, the works. Otherwise, I think we failed as a community.
But total cleanup is still years away. In the meantime, the county has definite plans for things like expanding the bike trails. Francis Gross, Channel 3 News on Onondaga Lake.
Pretty day down there along Onondaga Lake today, and Wayne is here to tell us about the possibility of a change in the weather, thunderstorm.
Well, there is a change coming up in the weather, Tom. We do have the greater chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms coming up because the air is becoming a little bit more tropical.
When you're looking at lawn and garden equipment, you've got to start where Simplicity does, at the bottom. Simplicity machines have tough, solid steel frames, not tubular. Heavy-duty wheel bearings and a rugged transmission. And they all have a pivoting front axle with an axle-mounted mower that floats up and down and pivots to match perfectly the contours of your lawn. Listen, anyone can give you a fancy paint job. Just remember where the work gets done. For real quality where it counts, there's no substitute for Simplicity. They're moving fast. Over 5,000 tough new Ford trucks. Your Ford dealer is out to sell every one of them by May 31st. The Tough Truck Sales Drive. Great deals like Ford Ranger Super Cab. Save $530 factory direct with special option package. Plus, get 5.9 financing that can save you hundreds more. Or the sporty Bronco 2. Save $729 factory direct, plus 7.9 financing. And that's before we start dealing. See your local Ford dealer today before the tough Ford truck you want is gone.
Any showers were few and far between across the area today as we pretty much ended up with a mix of clouds and sunshine and again dry. The high temperature today in Syracuse, 76 degrees. This morning's low, 58, and no rain as of yet at Hancock Airport. Right now, the temperature reading 66 degrees, humidity 67%. The winds are out of the south at 12 miles an hour, barometer 30.12 and holding steady. There's the sunrise and the sunset coming up tomorrow, and that makes 14 hours and 42 minutes of daylight. Now, as many of us already know, it's been real dry across the southeastern U.S. with the worst drought so far this century, but that's not the only place in the country that's dry. Here's a crop moisture index chart, and this shows the amount of available moisture within 5 feet below the ground for crops. The yellow areas here, of course, the very dry areas, and, of course, much of the southeastern U.S. getting that drought condition. Much of the southern plains, the same thing, very dry out there. And also, way out west, the southwestern states, again, very dry. The green areas here, though, on the other hand, are the very wet areas where there's more than enough moisture in the ground. The green areas now covering much of the northern and a good part of the central plains states, as well as way out in the Pacific Northwest. As far as we're concerned, we're certainly not in either of those categories. We're not in a drought yet, but we really do need some rain, and we're looking for at least a few showers coming up over the next couple of days to kind of help add to the water that we really need. Around the viewing area now, there are a couple of showers being picked up by radar across some of the western viewing areas. Rochester now 64 degrees, Albert Capacity and Seneca Falls staying at 62 degrees there. And other areas now, Navarino 60, Canastota 64, Old Forge, one of the cooler spots tonight, 58 degrees. Around the region, some more showers across western Pennsylvania down into Ohio, and temperatures ranging from 70 degrees at Columbus, Ohio, to the cool spot, Concord, New Hampshire, 54 degrees. Skies are still mainly clear across most of New England right now, but clouds cover much of New York State, into the Great Lakes, into the Ohio Valley, and because of all these clouds, I really don't foresee a whole lot of sunshine coming up tomorrow. Certainly less sun tomorrow than we had today. High pressure is now moved off the Atlantic seaboard, and with a high pressure in that position, that has put us up into the southwesterly flow of more humid air, and with the humidity going up, that means more clouds and a greater chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms for us tomorrow on into tomorrow night. Along with that, a couple of weak weather fronts in the Midwest heading slowly our way should help to trigger off some scattered showers and thunderstorms for us. Around the rest of the nation, scorching heat across the southern plains again today, temperatures in the 90s, but noticeably cooler across much of the northwestern states, temperatures today only in the 60s. Temperatures tomorrow, the heat will continue across much of the southern half of the nation, 80s and 90s, and the more comfortable 70s over us. So here's my forecast for tonight. Still lots of clouds around and a scattering of showers and thunder showers. Certainly not everyone is going to see one if you happen to want to stay up and try to see one. It'll be mild, temperatures 56 to 62 degrees. On the way to work tomorrow morning, clouds, maybe a shower in spots, 60s. Tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy, more humid. Showers and thunderstorms, probably the greatest chance we've had all week, 70 to 75 degrees. Same thing tomorrow night, 54 to 59. And then the weekend, clouds mixed with sunshine and maybe a scattered shower. Temperatures both days, Saturday and Sunday, in the mid-70s. Tom, you remember back about a week and a half ago, we had that big earthquake in the Aleutian Islands of Alaska, registering about a 7.8, I believe, on the Richter scale. We had an aftershock, a rather strong one during this afternoon in the Aleutian Islands of about a 6.4. And that is still a big earthquake.
We had the tsunami or the sea wave associated with the earlier one. Is there any of that?
No information on that. With the earlier one, we did tsunami. The sea wave developed. So probably, let's keep our fingers crossed, we won't have one with this.
It developed and then kind of
just died out before it got to land.
Okay, Wayne, thank you. Still to come tonight in sports, Roger will have highlights of tonight's Boston Massacre in the NBA playoffs, and the Chiefs' win streak comes to a screeching halt at the hands of the Toledo Mudhens.
From now until May 19th, Volkswagen deals are so special, they're practically steals. Thousands of brand are there for the taking. But these Volkswagens are going fast, so hurry in. It all ends May 19th, and missing out would be a crime. Volkswagen Seal of the Deal, now through May 19th.
Mount Hood, Oregon, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Mount Hood means the best summer skiing in America. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden, Old Milwaukee Light. There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. And Old Milwaukee beer. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Man, it doesn't get any better than this.
Only a few of these fruits and vegetables will make it as far as a Wegmans store. Most of them are just not good enough. Some are too small or too large, and some are just too darn old to qualify. At Wegmans, we sell only fruits and vegetables that are in their prime. Every day you can outthink.
5.9%. When you're hot, you're hot. And with new, lower GMAC finance rates, Pontiac is hotter than ever at your Performance Pontiac dealers. As low as 5.9% financing on any new Fiero. As low as 6.9% on all other hot new Pontiacs. Sunbird, Grand Am, Pontiac 6000, Trans Am, you name it. You could save over $1,000 in finance charges alone. GM's hottest selling cars at their lowest finance rates ever. Get hot. Get Pontiac at your Performance Pontiac dealers of Central New York.
Roger's here, and you know, I think if we live to be 100, I'll never understand why anybody would name a baseball team the Mud Hens.
The Mud Hens.
What's that got to do with baseball?
Oh, I don't know. The Toledo Mud Hens. Well, it fits, though. I think it is appropriate. But now listen, the Chiefs have a 6-game winning streak. You get the last place team in the league, name the Mud Hens, and you expect to win a few ball games.
Guess we could call Syracuse Mudville tonight, huh? No joy.
I don't know. You know, you can't win every game, but you really hate to get beat at home by the last place team in the league. Anyway, that's just what happened tonight. Toledo jumped on Don Cooper in the second inning and took a 2-0 lead. Then in the fourth, Alex Marte socks it to right center field, and this guy can fly. Look at him around the bases here. Here he comes around third. They're waving him on. Look at this guy go. Here's a throw. Too high. He's safe inside the park homer for a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the fourth. Chris Johnston goes to left field. McGriff is coming home. They're waving him in, too. Umpire says out, but he changes it later to safe. It's 3-1. Now Jeff Herron wallops one to right center field. What a good decision maker. He scores a run to make it 3-2. Toledo goes on to win it 6-3. At 6 o'clock, Steve told us that the Jays were sending pitcher Don Gordon and DH Cecil Fielder down from Toronto to Syracuse. Tonight, the Blue Jays called up John Cerruti and Fred McGriff. All right, earlier at MacArthur Stadium today, the NCAA Northeast Regional Division II tournament opened up with 2 games. In the second one, Lemoyne went up against Adelphi. It's 4-3 Dolphins here in the ninth. Chris King tees off to left center field. This is all the way back to the wall. That will score Mark Demo for a 5-3 Dolphin lead. Then Mike Carlin puts on the squeeze play. Another run's coming in as the pitcher bobbles it 6-3. It's 7-3 when Ken Herring hits the pop-up. There's my favorite play. He's coming in. I got it. Oh, I don't have it. Zimmerman scores to make it 8-3. 9-3 is the final. New Haven won the other game, but not as easily as we would have thought. Dolphins and New Haven play tomorrow morning at 10. The OCC women's softball team won the Northeast District Championship today, beating Mitchell College 6-0 and 3-0. They now move on to the National Junior College Championships beginning next Thursday in Benton Harbor, Michigan. White Sox, you know, have been playing pretty good baseball ever since the management threatened to hire Billy Martin. Tonight, they beat the Yankees again in New York. First inning, here is Winfield with a bullet to left field that we didn't see. Randolph scores. Second inning, Walker kisses this one goodbye. 3-run homer for a 3-1 lead. Now in the fifth inning, Tim Hurlett with a bouncer. Guidry gets it, but then he throws it in the dirt. Run will score to make it 6-1. White Sox go on to win this ball game 8-1. In Detroit, Rangers with a big win over Detroit. Baltimore has defeated the Twins 5-3, and Cleveland leads Kansas City in the 8th. The Mets took an early lead on the Astros in Houston. Second inning, Ray Knight goes right up the middle. This will bring in Strawberry for a 1-0 lead. Now in the third inning, first and second for Keith Hernandez. He wallops this one down the line. It's a fair ball. Dykstra will score for a 2-0 lead. It is 3-0 in the 6th. Nolan Ryan to Danny Heath. Heath blasts this one out of the ballpark. 2-run homer to make it 5. Tonight over the Phillies. The NHL has a night off. Stanley Cup Finals open tomorrow night in Calgary. Tonight, Game 2 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Bucks in Boston, where the Celtics have only lost once this year. What a place for the Bucks coach Don Nelson to celebrate his birthday tonight. He's praying early in the game. First half, McHale goes in. Oh, that's a pretty move. Now look at Dennis Johnson, 81-foot shot. That's in a plays of the month. Glenn, the Brewer, for the dunk. He had 21. Now Bird inside the McHale really did the job. Lister for the Bucks comes back here. He had 22. Finish up, though, Ames to McHale. Celtics unstoppable, 122-111. They've won 38 straight. The Boston Garden Lakers-Rocket series resumes tomorrow night. The University of Connecticut named Jim Calhoun from Northeastern as their new head basketball coach today. He replaces Don Perno, who resigned last month. And tomorrow, Georgetown coach John Thompson will be named coach of the U.S. Olympic basketball team, according to sources in Washington. In New York, NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle took the stand today in the USFL lawsuit against the NFL. Under cross-examination by USFL lawyers, Rozelle said the USFL never crossed his mind when he was negotiating a 5-year contract with all 3 TV networks in 1982. The USFL is contending that Rozelle tied up the networks to keep their league off TV and thus force them out of business. The USFL had played their games in summer until this year when they plan to move to fall, but I think that all depends on the outcome of this trial. If they don't win it, there's no more USFL.
All righty, Roger. Thank you. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The Australians have 60-yard race.
Yeah, he'll learn.
Starting America's Cup of basketball, we'll win.
The Coney Island will show you how to play basketball.
Yeah? Where are you? Did you get the Molson Gold?
You're early.
Early, we lost.
I think you're good enough for your photos.
No, Molson Gold. Let's go, my friend.
Fridge is empty.
Really? Where is it? 40 from Canada. Ever heard of it? Canada?
Yeah, it's up north, right? We have guys who love gin.
Molson. Make it golden for me and my friend.
Beauty.
Everybody happy?
Are you kidding?
This is why we stay friends.
16 of the most popular riding mowers in the country. A leading independent consumer publication tested them all. This one was rated #1, Toro. They said it left the lawn smooth as a carpet, gobbled up heavy grass without complaint. It also handled easily and predictably. So see, the #1 rated Toro. It sure is nice to be rated #1.
Available at these and other fine Toro dealers.
Who'd ever think me, would be a family man? I've got new responsibilities. My dad taught me that cars are not just a monthly payment, they're an investment. I just bought a Buick.
Buick excitement now includes our lowest GMAC financing ever. Length of finance contract is limited.
Hey, just because a guy settles down doesn't mean he has to disappear off the face of the earth. That's why I bought a Buick.
Get details at your Central New York Buick dealers now.
Finally tonight, a reminder of 2,400 servicemen, 17 from Central New York, 3 from Onondaga County, men who never returned from the conflict in Southeast Asia 10 years ago. Today, a POW MIA flag was raised near the Civic Center in Syracuse in memory of those men and in support of the families who are still waiting. The spokesman for the state POW MIA organization stressed the need for public awareness and the importance of never forgetting those men. That is our report for now. The Tonight Show on Hollywood up next. We thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you tomorrow night at 6. For all of us here at Channel 3, good night.